Welcome back to the Amelia Island Plantation Golf Academy, now the new home of the Hank Haney Golf Schools. And now that we've partnered with Hank Haney and we're going to do his golf schools here, being that I'm a Hank Haney certified instructor, you can come here and experience a day of lessons or 5 days of lessons, golf school, working on your swing, playing golf with the instructor, all those great things. And you can feel like you're Tiger Woods, because Hank Haney's been coaching Tiger Woods now for over 5 years. And when they work together, it's a long day, it's a full day, and you're going to get the full treatment. And what I'm going to talk about is one of the things they focus on the most. And for Hank Haney, the secret to playing better and being more consistent is to work on your swing plane. And your swing plane is basically established when you set up to the ball. This angle that your club sits on at address is the angle that you want to pay attention to during the swing. So picture a line here where the club is. As you swing the club back, the club follows that line. Now here's where it's interesting. Many of us read Ben Hogan's 5 Fundamentals, or the 5 Lessons. Ben had a sheet of glass to explain the swing plane, and it was one solid plane of glass. But because our arms droop, Hank Haney figured out that the club swings back along that line in the beginning, but because your arms droop, they swing up on a new plane. So it's not one big sheet of glass, it's actually parallel lines. So you have a line here, and then you have a line up here that is parallel. You do not have to be on some exact plane, and that's where many of us really get confused on this matter. You want to try to swing the club up in a parallel line. Now if you're making mistakes, you might be this way. This would be steep and across. Some golfers are this way, laid off. That is way below that parallel plane up here. So the trick is to move the club back along the plane, and then as your arms start to arc the club up, the club now is in a similar parallel line up here. And if you're really, really flexible and you can go all the way back to parallel, that's when that club points at the target. If you're short of parallel, it's going to point a little bit out to the left. If you're across the line, now it's going to be, or if you're past parallel, it's going to point a little bit. I'm losing my flexibility, so I can't really get that club way past parallel. John Daly can still do it. So again, on this plane, the beauty of working on this and practicing in it and getting it where it's grooved is it gives you the ability to hit the middle of the face every time. It makes the club come back and arrive to that point where the sweet spot is. If your arms go up too steep the plane, your arms will come in towards your body, you'll hit everything out off the toe. If your arms go too far behind you and below the plane, it throws your arms too far out in front of you. You'll hit everything in the heel. So some of you are thinking, that's me, I hit off the toe or I hit off the heel. You're above the plane or you're below it. Being parallel to these lines gives you that ability to center cut those shots every time, right dead in the sweet spot. And you know what that does? More distance. And every one of us wants to hit the ball farther. Secondly, it gives you the ability to hit the ground right where the ball is. You don't want to be hitting the ground behind the ball. You don't want to be hitting the ground in front of the ball. Being on these plane angles and being parallel to it gives you that consistency of hitting the ground or having that solid contact where the club arrives right back there to where the tee is or where the ball is, right on the ground. And working on your swing plane, more importantly, helps you hit the ball straighter, because when your swing is on plane, the club face arrives square more consistently. There's no guarantees in this game, but we're trying to make things easier. And the more consistent you are with getting the club on this plane, being parallel up here, gives you the best chance to square the face.
All right, Ed Bo, great tip there when you're talking about the swing plane. Hopefully that breaks it down and you understand that better. And again, big announcement, Hank Haney Golf School. It's right here at Amelia Island Plantation. And when you call up, you get Ed. I tell you what, he is one of the best instructors we've ever dealt with here on Golfer's Guide TV. He's available for you to come up. Don't forget the offer, 45-minute lesson, $100, plus a foursome to Amelia River. Take advantage. Call the number here on the screen. Stick with us. We got a lot more here at Amelia Island Plantation.
Hey golfers, it's almost time for one of the biggest events in the golf world, the 2009 Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and you need to be there. Golfer's Guide TV wants to send you in VIP style. Enter our contest at golfersguidetv.com. You and a friend can play in the Induction Day tournament, enjoy the ceremony from the VIP seats, and mingle with the Hall of Famers at the private after party. Enter at golfersguidetv.com.
That's why we all play this game, is to feel the contact of a really solid hit. And welcome back to the Amelia Island Plantation Golf Academy, where we're now the home of the Hank Haney Golf Schools. And one of the really important things that Hank works on is what your wrist is doing. Now, if you're a right-handed golfer, it's your left wrist. If you're left-handed, it's your right wrist. But this wrist is one of those key essential parts to playing better. And I demonstrate this with this impact bag. When we arrive at impact, we want our wrist basically in that position. And if you can bow it a little bit more, which is to move it this way, that's even better. It creates a little more power. It de-lofts the club, helps you flight the ball a little bit lower and more of a penetrating flight. So one of the things that we're going to work on if you come to a Hank Haney Golf School is training this wrist so that at impact it's trained to be in the right position to support the club and to square the face. And one of the things that people don't realize, and next time they slow down a swing when you're watching golf on TV, they do one of those great shots from down the line like this. Watch when they do that super slow-mo. Watch this part of that golfer's swing. What you'll see when they start that club down is the wrist starts to angle like this. And it starts right from the beginning. You initiate the club down to strike that ball. It doesn't happen down there. Many people think the release and the way they square their hands happens down there. If you try to do it at the ball, it's too late. You've got to initiate the club down right from the beginning with this move. Most of you out there who slice the ball to the right, if you're right-handed, when you start the club down, your hands move like this. They move like this. And a lot of times they move out and over. But if you do this, look at that club face. It is laid wide open and you really have virtually no chance to square it up. But if you see that swing that I was talking about, when they really slow the swing down, and they've got these cameras that can really show you a great amount of detail, watch the wrist start to turn like this. Now the wrist is initiating that squaring of the club face, and so at impact you arrive with that wonderful position where the wrist is like this. So you're delivering the club down from the inside and you're teaching and training the wrist to square like this. And this is a tricky thing, especially if you're really a dominant right-handed person. To train your left wrist to be square at impact is a huge effort. You've got to teach this hand how to be in that position. So many of you come into impact and there's a collapse. That wrist is collapsed. There's no power in that. It makes you hit the ball high and not very far. So one of the important things, hitting that ball long and straight, is getting that wrist, when you start the club down, it starts to initiate. That helps you square it up at the bottom. And you can drive that ball with those long, penetrating, fun to hit drives. So when you come out here to the Amelia Island Plantation Golf Academy, hopefully to a Hank Haney Golf School, we're going to spend a lot of time teaching you how to train that wrist.
Another great tip by Ed Bow. Don't forget, he is available for you to come up and take lessons anytime. It's not that long of a drive. When you come up here, you get to clear your head for a little bit, coming and going, get you into the golf mood. It's right here at Amelia Island Plantation. Don't forget the offer. 45-minute lesson with Ed Bow, only $100, but he's throwing in a foursome to Amelia River. Get up, learn how to play better golf, take advantage of a fantastic golf deal here on Golfer's Guide TV. Stick with us. We've got more with Ed Bow and Amelia Island Plantation.